Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at a pretty tense situation happening right now over in Sierra Leone.
Oh yeah. This one's got a lot going on.
Definitely. It's all about press freedom, or maybe more accurately, the lack of it. We've gotten some urgent messages and firsthand accounts that paint a pretty concerning picture.
Right, yeah. The situation's kind of unfolding in real time.
Exactly. So we're going to focus on a Dutch journalist, Sophie Vleeuwen, and a local journalist who was working with her, Joseph Touré. And, the actions of the Sierra Leone police and the Ministry of Information are also going to be key players here.
Yeah, they're definitely involved.
Okay, so let's jump right in. One of the first things that caught our eye was, Sophie was reportedly interrogated.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but it wasn't just any interrogation. We're talking 9 hours.
9 hours. Wow.
9 hours, and get this, no food or water.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, that alone raises some serious red flags. But what makes it even more alarming is that this interrogation happened after the Ministry of Information had already publicly announced that she had been released.
Hmm.
So what do you make of that? What's the deal with this discrepancy?
Well, I think it's a pretty clear case of intimidation tactics. It's all about sending a message.
So, Sophie,
Sophie, yeah. But also to any other journalist working in Sierra Leone. It's like, we can do whatever we want, and we'll say whatever we want. You can't trust us. You know what I mean?
that's pretty chilling when you think about it.
Yeah, it creates this chilling effect, right? So other journalists, especially local reporters, they're going to think twice before criticizing the government.
Because they could be next.
Exactly. Nobody wants to end up in that situation.
And it wasn't just the interrogation. They also confiscated Sophie's phone and camera,
Yeah. I mean, come on.
essentially taking away the tools she needs to do her job.
It's like telling a surgeon, okay, operate, but no scalpel this time.
Yeah, you can't really do your job without the right tools.
Exactly. And it's not just Sophie either. They also took Joseph Touré's vehicle.
Who's Joseph Touré?
He's a local journalist who was helping Sophie, and they're still holding his vehicle. It's a clear sign that they're trying to make it harder for journalists, especially local journalists, to do their work.
So if journalists can't even travel freely or communicate with their sources, I mean, how can they possibly report on what's happening?
Right. It's like, what's the point?
How can they hold those in power accountable?
And this is where it gets even more worrying. One of the sources we looked at had this quote about how politicians only need a gullible public.
Yikes. That's not good.
Not good at all. It implies that there's this deliberate attempt to, manipulate information to stop the public from getting the real story.
Keep them in the dark.
Exactly. And that's why the work that journalists like Sophie and Joseph are doing is so important.
They're the ones who are supposed to hold the powerful accountable.
Right. They're like watchdogs. They provide independent information, challenge the official narrative.
It's like if you silence the watchdogs, who's left to bark? Speaking of challenging the narrative, there was another powerful statement from one of the sources we looked at. Media freedom is not a Christmas or Pray Day present from the state. It is a democratic right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A free press isn't a gift. It's not something the government can just give and take away whenever it feels like it.
Exactly. It's a cornerstone of a functioning democracy. If you can't report freely, if you're always looking over your shoulder, then you can't have transparency. You can't hold those in power accountable.
So what happens now? What about Sophie and Joseph? What happens to the people of Sierra Leone if journalists can't do their jobs?
That's the big question. It's crucial for us to pay attention to these cases to make sure that the world knows what's happening. Because this isn't just about Sierra Leone. Press freedom is under threat all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't isolated incidents.
Nope, they're part of a larger pattern. And it's a reminder that press freedom is something we need to fight for all the time, not just when it's convenient.
So this leaves us with one final thought, something for you all to chew on. What can you do in your own way to support a free press? What can you do to ensure that the watchdogs keep barking?
That's a good question to ask yourself.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.